helps out. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Alrighty there, Tiberius. It seems like we are as good as it's gonna be. Thank you for anybody that happens to watch this later. I know we lost the viewers that we had earlier, and that's okay. I understand. I respect you for hanging around as long as you did.
Yeah.
Well, world, my name is Woodrow Cooper Willis. I am coming to you from the wonderful city of Houston, the great state of Texas. But it's really not all that important who I am. What's important is the gentleman next to me. The man, the myth, the legend. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them where you're from, sir.
Hey everybody, this is Tyrese Jones from Mom's Universe, and I reside in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I am Woodrow Cooper Willis. For those who care, again, I am coming out of Houston, Texas. We had some technical difficulties earlier, but we seem to have it straightened out now. There should be no echo. There should be no repeating of my voice. And you should be able to hear Tiberius clearly with the nice music in the background. Tiberius, say hello to the wonderful people one more time.
Hey everybody, Tyrese Jones from Mom's Universe.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet. Okay, so this is the spoiler review for the movie Joker. I can go ahead and take that stream starting soon off because we are starting now. We have already started. Again, appreciate everyone being out there and coming through. That's what's up. Big love to you. Lots of love. Let those hearts fall down on you. Everyone in the chat, this is a spoiler review. You can spoil to your heart's content. Again, this is a spoiler review for everybody. So if you have not seen the movie yet, turn away from this review and check out our non-spoiler review that's located in the video section. That would be good stuff. All right, so starting off, when we covered the actors, matter of fact, there's a couple of things I want to cover. We'll do some administrative notes, and I think y'all will be happy with these administrative notes, okay? So not only are we doing this spoiler review, and we did a non-spoiler review, we also are going to do a review for the new movie Hustlers by J-Lo. And you know, looking at that poster, it inspired me to go see it. And I was curious of what the movie's gonna be about. Actually, I went out there with my wife. I had no intention of seeing this movie. She wanted to see it, but after I saw it, I am glad I saw it. And interesting enough, it's based on a true story. So that's a review that we'll be doing live coming up soon. I've seen it. Tiberius hasn't, but that's okay. I'm also going to attempt to see Gemini Man over the weekend. So that'll be a review coming up. I do like Will Smith. I like a lot of his older stuff. He's been kind of missing more than hitting lately. But I am a fan of his acting overall. And this should be a very interesting film. And I get to see young Will Smith, which was cool back in the day, and see if he can bring that swagger. So that'd be interesting. Something else that'll be coming up soon. There's a Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance on Netflix. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it yet, Tiberius, you need to watch it.
Yeah, I watched the first 10 episodes. I still need
That's
to
what's up.
finish it.
And I actually wanted to go by episode breakdown. So we'll basically throw out a little schedule, and then on that night, you know, I say, hey, everybody watch The Dark Crystal, and you watch it, or if you haven't already watched it, and then we'll talk about that episode afterwards. I think it'd be pretty fun. It'd be something a little different, and just another way for us to communicate with you and you communicate with us. All right. So in the background, you should hear some music going, and that's actually remember we talked about the score and the soundtrack, and this is actually soundtrack playing in the background. It's a really good soundtrack. Me and Tiberius have already been talking about, we're probably going to cop that because it's surprisingly good. All right.
Yeah.
But also would set a lot of mood, and you know the eeriness, you know what I'm talking about, you know how creepy you felt. Not only did the actors do it, but they also did it with music. And Tiberius asked me who the composer was. Well, this is the composer. Her name is Hildur, I'm gonna mispronounce it, Gu, and when it's an O with that little sound, a little thing over it, that makes a th sound. So it's Gulta Oreth. I'm sure I just jacked that up.
Yeah.
But I tried. I literally went and listened to how do you pronounce those sounds, but it's so much going together. I'm sure I just messed it up. But anyway, she's a pretty interesting woman. She has actually done a lot of soundtracks or scores for a bunch of different shows. She won an Emmy recently. She has got it going on. She's a celloist, and that's her instrument of choice. And she's been playing the cello since 5 years old. So Tiberius asked about this person because we both really admired her music. The score that she put out there, that's who it is. So,
Nice.
oh goodness. So Tiberius, how you feel about that? We actually up and running now.
Yeah, it's good. Feels good. We in there. We
That's
in
what's
there.
up. That's what's up. All right. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all, anybody more than welcome to talk about anything you want to. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about. We're gonna talk about anything, everything. We're probably gonna jump all over the place, but we're just gonna go ahead and start off with whatever you want to start off with. Tiberius, go ahead.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Well. Okay. I'll start off with this. I mentioned in our other review that there were three nods to Heath Ledger that I spotted in the film. One of them they gave away in the TV spot, or they mentioned that this was a nod. I'll start with that one first. You saw in the TV spot when he's in the back of the cop car and he's laughing hysterically or whatever, and it's kind of like a nod to when Heath Ledger was in the driving the police car and he sticks his head out the window and shakes it around like a dog. So that was kind of a little nod to that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I actually
That
do
was the first
remember
one.
that part from the Heath Ledger Joker. Yeah, when he sticks his head out the car and he's like doing all that. So you're saying that was a nod in the movie we saw. That was a nod to that.
Yeah, like him being in the police car.
See, that's pretty interesting. So what I kind of thought, if I didn't even think about it being a nod to the other movie, which I probably do need to watch again. And I am a fan of that movie. Tiberius loves that movie. I like the movie a lot. I had a problem with Batman per se, Christian Bale's Batman more than the Joker, and it was more because of his voice. It just got on my nerves. That I'm the hero that
Yeah,
Gotham needs. I hated that. I'm like, dude, you supposed to have a voice modulate or something, or just I don't know, talk like Bruce Wayne and we'll act like we don't know it's you. But that voice, you know, it is getting on my nerves. Um, so what I kind of thought that as far as symbolism goes or whatever, I just remember him riding in the back of, I think it was a taxi earlier in the movie or whatever, and he was kind of quiet and the world didn't notice him. You know, he was just there. But then in this ride around, you know, he's noticed the world has noticed him, whether they realize it or not. They noticed him, and obviously they did because he was in a police car actually. So yeah, they did notice him because they ran the truck into him to help him escape or whatever.
yeah.
So he went from being invisible, and then you know as Arthur, and then when he became the Joker, he is very visible. You know, he went being uncomfortable and miserable to joyous and happy. So that was kind of the two, like the opposite ends of the spectrum that I kind of saw with that. But that's cool though if they actually did that as a nod to Heath Ledger's Joker, which is an iconic Joker. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You bringing up him being sort of invisible and not uh, him being invisible at first and then being noticed. If you notice in the film, the staircase or the stairs, you
Mm-hmm.
notice when he's Arthur Fleck, he's sort of he's beaten down, he's going up the stairs, he's kind of sort of like I said beaten down. But then when he's the Joker, he's full of life, and you see him dancing down the stairs. And I thought that was a perfect um, I guess symbolism or whatever that they capture with that with the stairs, him being defeated and beat down, and then him it's infused with life and him dancing down the stairs.
I
So I
like
thought that
that.
was cool how they did the stairs with that.
That is pretty cool because you're right. Now that you mention it, when he was Arthur and he was, I remember one part he was going up the stairs, kind of the end of I think he might have been fired or whatever the case may be, but it was
Yeah,
at the end of a day and it was just like this long hall going up the stairs. But
yeah,
then as he's coming down as the Joker, he's dancing and, you know, he's feeling himself and he's moving down the
yeah,
stairs like, you know, like fluid, liquid. So, yeah, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay. I like that. That's pretty
yeah.
cool symbolism.
I like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. What else you got for us there, Mr.
Um.
Tiberius?
Okay. So the other nod, well, um, this is after he kills Murray Franklin, and he goes up to the camera. And what this is not to, there's a part in The Dark Knight where the Joker has the copycat Batman, and he's gonna kill him. He says, Starting tonight, people will die." And then the Joker, when he fixes the camera, he says, "Tonight," and he's about to say something else, and then it cuts off because the screen goes off. And I was like, I kind of see what you did there. That's kind of a cool little. nod to that.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about he after he killed Arthur and he grabs the camera and he's about to say whatever he's gonna say, and
Yeah.
then okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Did you see any other nods to any of the other Jokers? Out of this Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
I would say maybe in the clothing, it looks kind of like the Cesar Romero outfit, just because it's not the traditional purple. It's
Okay.
like the like the burgundy type of. So I would say with that, it kind of looks like the Cesar Romero Joker outfit
Okay.
with
Okay.
that. I don't know. I didn't really spot anything. Now, if you know something, you can go ahead and say what you've spotted.
I'm just getting this should be pretty interesting. I'm actually getting I got a copyright. I knew I would content for the Joker live review. So and we just got a video blocked. So
Oh,
let's see where we got blocked at. I was like, why am I getting all these warnings and notifications? Okay, due to a copyright claim on your video, it has been blocked. This means that your video will no longer play on YouTube, and it was blocked for sending the clowns. Look at that.
oh,
So,
boo.
but we're still streaming on YouTube. Hey, Aisha, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for that
Hey,
like. I definitely appreciate that, Miss Ma'am. So
thank you.
I guess it'll be blocked when people try to view it later, but obviously we're still live. So,
Yeah.
so everybody, hey, is this WMG and which is I guess Warner's Music Group. I think that's what Warner Music Group, and then Universal Music Group has blocked this video for Send in the Clowns. Oh,
Yeah.
come on, Warner. We're saying good stuff, but we're actually talking about buying this and telling people like, hey,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
all good. And let's see what the copyright claim from. I'm sure it's probably the same as well. So this is something as a YouTube creator, it just kind of is what it is, especially with us because we like using the material because it brings more to it.
Yeah.
So Warner Music Group just gave us a copyright for a copyright claim. It is different from a strike. All these just claims.
Yeah.
For Sunshine of Your Love. Oh,
Oh.
Warner Music Group. We're gonna give
Thank
you.
you.
We're sending you a mom's hug, a very big old.
Yes.
I almost said what mom stood for, a hug.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You
Oh
know
god.
what? You know what
Yes.
we could do? We
Uh-huh.
could just sing all the music ourselves and then just play it in the background.
Send in the
Yeah, we
clowns.
can just do it ourselves if you want to.
Aisha just sent us a big hug. Is that okay if we do that, Aisha? We send in the
And then the clown.
clowns. Myself in Tiberius, along with Bailey the puppy. We'll send in the clowns.
The
Bailey just walked out, by the
clown.
way.
Yeah.
He's ain't being part of this foolishness.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh goodness, oh goodness. So I thought the movie was pretty cool. I was also trying to look for Easter eggs throughout the movie. I know this is a standalone movie, but what nods are they gonna make? So I'm looking at graffiti on the background because there's graffiti
Yeah.
everywhere, and then I'm looking at the different stuff. I saw a nod to the comics, and matter of fact, you see
Okay.
it in almost. So Gotham City has a bunch of landmarks that are very
Yeah.
popular. They show off in the comics, and one of them that seems to always pop up in the Joker comics is, and I can't think of the doggone name of the place, but it's actually it's a boardwalk, so it's got a big Ferris wheel and a roller coaster and
Oh
all that.
yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
think of the name of it, but yeah.
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 So like on one part when he's and remember this is everybody. I hope you can see it on. It's a spoiler. This is all spoilers. This whole thing. This is a spoiler
Yeah.
stream. Again, warning: if you haven't seen Joker, or you don't care about spoilers, obviously stay. But if you've seen Joker, then stay. But if you haven't seen Joker 2019 movie, then please go check out the other video. We don't want to spoil anything for you. But when he's stomping on whatever he's stomping on in the trash outside. That you see that off in the distance. And speaking of whatever he was stomping on, so I was watching a couple of
Oh
people who
yeah.
were,
Okay.
and they were saying that he was stomping on the body of the guy who fired him. I didn't see
Okay.
that. It
No,
looks
I
like
didn't see that
trash to
either.
me.
Yeah, it just like he was just kicking trash. Because
Yeah.
in the trailer, I thought the same thing. I thought he was just kicking somebody's head in.
Thank you,
But
Aisha.
I want to say it was just him stumping on trash because he was fired. Because the dude who I don't know. Never mind. I guess because it didn't show him after that. So I don't know. I'm thinking he was just kicking trash.
Yeah, yeah. Now another nod to the comics. Well, first a nod to real life. So in real life, New York City had a epidemic with trash. I think it was like
Yeah.
it was in the 81 or 83. Both of those years are sticking out of my head. I'm not entirely sure which one it was, but the early 80s. And this is a real thing. Basically, the people that picked up trash, the trash collectors, went on strike, and that was a huge deal. And you can imagine the political fallout, the ramifications, and everything that goes along with just trash piling up on the streets. First, it hit the poorer neighborhoods because that's how usually stuff like that works, and then it got all the way up until basically it didn't get taken care of until it started hitting the rich neighborhoods, and there were literally trash outside everywhere. Like you could barely walk on the sidewalks because there was piles and piles of trash. So think about any other major city like London, L.A., Tokyo, Copenhagen, etc., and no one's picking up the trash. How quickly that would pile up. So again, since Gotham City is a mirror of New York, because when DC and Marvel were first gaining roots and all those other comic businesses back in the day, like in the 30s, 40s, and 50s or whatever, they all basically started out of New York. And that's why Gotham is set in New York. That's why Spider-Man is set in New York. The Punisher, the Avengers, you name it. That's why it all comes out of New York or whatever. And Gotham is definitely the comic book version of New York. So that was a nod to something that really happened. And so that was one of the things I liked, because they tried their best to make this a very grounded movie, and not things like that where you could like, oh wow, there's somebody out there was watching that. Like, I remember when that was happening. I lived in New York, when that took place, whatever. And then me just being a stupid political history nerd, I'm like, oh dude, that really happened in New York. And so they don't even have to tell you. Obviously you can look around and kind of see that it's set, like, is this set in the 70s or set in the 80s? But that tells you right there, this is set in the early 80s, because that's when it happened in New York. So it helps pin it down without them saying 1981, a big sign, or 1983. If you know your history, or you look it up, you find out like, oh, this took place in the early 80s. That's cool. And I thought that was pretty neat.
I like that.
Another nod to the comics are the Super Rats. There's actually so you know all about so Super Rats. So they definitely threw out a bunch of comic book stuff that you had to be in the comics to, or want to care to learn to figure out. I thought that was really neat. And then of course they did a lot of their own spin. So JD, welcome to the stream. Thank you for that like button. I definitely appreciate it later. And I'll see you later. So Aisha, you had to roll out, sweetie. If you are still there, thank you for being here. If you had to leave, well, I hope you come back in the future, because it's always nice having you around for sure. And as you see, JD, I had to finally figure this out with the no echo thing, but I have to actually go back and trace my steps to figure out what I did, because I did so much after things weren't going right in the beginning. So again, this is a spoiler all around. So, okay, we only named off the actors and actresses that you actually saw in the trailer, because again, we didn't want to talk about like Thomas Wayne, we didn't want to talk about Bruce, because you see Bruce in the trailer, but you didn't know who it was. You just saw a kid. And same thing, you just saw somebody in the TV. You didn't necessarily know that was Thomas Wayne. And so what do you think about their performances? I don't have their names. I should, but I don't. For the actors who played Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne. What do you think about them, the amount of time they had on screen, their impact on what Joker went through? Go ahead, top ears.
Okay. We'll start with Thomas Wayne. I thought both of them were really good actors for what time they were on. But Thomas Wayne, it's fun little nod. He was in Dark Knight Rises. I can't remember the character, but he was in the movie. He was the character who was hitting on Catwoman. So he crossed over between two Batman films. So
that's pretty cool. So he actually got to be in two Batman movies.
Yeah.
I think one of, I guess that's, I don't know I don't remember how much time he had in that movie. Did he have a lot of screen time, or was it very short?
He had a handful of scenes. It wasn't like a whole lot or anything. He didn't, it was he was just there to move the plot, and that basically was it. Or for that section, it wasn't like he was, a standout role or anything. He was just there for like a few minutes or whatever, a couple scenes. But,
thank you for that smash like rocks and socks. Definitely appreciate that. Rocking them socks off. Yes. So what about Bruce Wayne there?
Bruce Wayne. I like the kid, but here's the thing: he barely had any dialogue.
Did he have any dialogue at all?
I would say he may have like one line. He may have said something to Alfred at one point, but he barely had any. But he is good for, I guess, his facial expressions and his just standing there reacting. But It was pretty cool, but there's a cool nod. I don't know if you noticed it. It's when he slides down his the pole at his clubhouse. It's
Yes,
kind of like a nod to Batman, when he
sliding
slides
down the
down the
pole.
pole.
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes,
that's pretty cool.
yes. And the guy, it's not this actor, but when I saw Alfred, the first thing I thought about the dude that plays on the UK version of The Office. That's
Oh,
who he looked
okay.
like to me, like the main actor.
Yeah,
It's not him, but that's who I thought. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's a weird casting choice, but it wasn't
yeah.
him.
The thing about these characters too, like Alfred and Thomas Wayne. I know this is I guess they're the characters in name because they're kind of dicks for lack of a better word. Like Alfred's kind of rude,
Yeah,
mean. I know he's young, but
yeah,
he's
yeah.
kind of And the same thing with Thomas Wayne. He's kind of a
I,
dick in
I
a lot
thought
of
it was
ways.
an interesting take on Thomas Wayne
Yeah,
because in from every from the flashbacks or how they talk about him and all this stuff, he was was a philanthropist. He was
yeah,
and he was just basically wonderful man. So for them to basically, well, in the beginning they kind of put him in that light because Arthur's mom Penny kept talking about like, oh,
yeah,
he's so wonderful, he treats her about like family. Then the commercial or whatever comes on, and all this kind of stuff. So they kind of set it up that way. And since I only had seen the first teaser trailer and nothing else, I didn't know. I never saw the bathroom scene. So when he turned around and knocked the hell out of Arthur, it caught me off
mhm,
guard. I was like, oh damn,
yeah,
and it just
yeah,
went downhill from there because I was like, I was understanding Thomas's Wayne, why he was irritable or whatever. I was like, hey, this guy's coming at me. I don't know him, yada yada yada, and he's not really
yeah,
listening to what I'm trying to tell him. And so, and it's a weird situation to be in the bathroom and you're peeing and this person
yeah,
talking to you or whatever,
yeah,
So it's like it's all weird. So I understood his irritability, but I was not
yeah,
expecting him to turn around and punch him, and it just threw him in a whole
yeah,
different light that he got violent with him, and then everything went from there. So I was like, oh man, So I thought it
yeah,
was an interesting take.
yeah,
And then as far as Alfred goes, it didn't really bother me that he was kind of an a-hole because he's always been protective even
yeah,
in other incarnations of Alfred. He's just
yeah.
older, and so
Yeah, I was gonna say.
now.
Plus, yeah, he's young now,
Yeah,
so this is him as a young guy. So
yeah, so he's like, I'll beat your ass.
yeah,
And this ain't old Alfred back in the day. He's
yeah,
like, leave before I call the police. He's like, nah, I got this. And speaking of young Alfred, back in his heyday, they got a new Alfred Pennyworth show out,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and it takes place, and this is all out. Him being a badass, and I think that's pretty
Mhm.
neat. I actually want to watch that. I know they hinted
Yeah,
at the comics or whatever, but I never knew he was supposed to be this kind of badass. So it's kind of weird now knowing that he was just this. He was basically like 007, for all those years, and now he's just a butler walking around the house,
yeah,
and older and not really. I don't know. I'm just like it's kind of off for me, but I am very curious about that, and I'm curious. The more I learn about Alfred, is it gonna make me look at him a little bit differently? The older fatherly Alfred that we have, the grandfatherly
yeah,
Alfred that we have, that we've
yeah,
all kind of come to know and love. So I thought that was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Rocks and socks. Put a look out. You retracting the message? Okay, good to go. I was just like, oh, let me catch that because that thing. Matter of fact, speaking of, I didn't even think about this. So, I'm okay. So real quick, go ahead and say anything and everything you want to say about Joaquin Phoenix that you be considered spoiler territory. Because again, we just hinted like, oh, we like this acting. Now you can talk about the scenes. What did you like? So what parts did you thought he was outstanding in, and what parts, if any, you thought didn't work as far as Joaquin's performance as the Joker and Arthur?
Okay. There wasn't really any scene where I felt like it didn't work. Really, I thought his performance was great throughout. There's really no scene where I was like, there were parts that was uncomfortable. With his laugh and him. Oh, okay. So we're going at his laugh. The reason why the Joker laughs because he has a condition to it when he gets nervous, he starts to laugh uncontrollably. He can't help it.
Which is a
And
real condition.
yeah, and there are parts in the movie where he's laughing at the wrong time. And you kind of like, oh, that's horrible. Like there's a part when he's doing a stand up and he's trying to tell this joke, but he can't because he can't stop laughing. And it's like, oh, that's horrible. And you got the people like pity clapping and pity laughing, but then as it
Yeah.
goes along, it's kind of like people kind of like, oh, what is this? And you kind of like, oh man, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but his performance works. There's not one part where I thought was weak, but there's one part I thought was like this was actually truly like had me like, oh crap, like kind of like afraid. Was it's the scene? I guess it's the scene where, all right, so his girlfriend. I guess let's start with this. His girlfriend in the movie in our other review, we talked about how she instantly fell in love with him. Like within like a couple of days of meeting each other. Because they meet in the elevator, and I guess her day was going bad, just like his, and she kind of does like this and goes, poof, and then he catches on to that. He's like, yeah, and then he does it. When they go out in the hallway, he goes, poof, So, his girlfriend in this actually is not real. I mean, well, she's real, but their relationship doesn't happen. Like, it's all in his head. Like, so when you see them hanging out, things like that, if you notice, nobody interacts with him and her when they're together. Yes. So, and they show you this. So, the part that I'm going to that had me like, oh crap, was when he goes into her apartment. It's later on in the film, and then when she comes in, and she's like, "Hey, your name's Arthur, right?" And he turns like, gives it this cold look.
Yeah, I was like, oh
because
shit.
It's raining. Yeah, it's raining. His hair is all wet. And she's all nervous. Like, can you please leave my, can you please leave my daughter's here? Please. I was like, oh, God.
I was like,
yeah, on edge. Yeah.
I was like, don't hurt her with that. I was like, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too. Now, I don't think he killed because he just leaves, but like you don't see him anymore after this. He just leaves out of the room. So I'm because then if he did kill her, that means the kid would be by itself, unless he killed the kid, killed her daughter. Yeah, but I don't know. So the way he leaves out of it, I don't know. It's kind of ambiguous whether or not if he killed her or not.
JD said that part is so good, and I agree. You know what? Yeah, because like I was like Arthur. I was like, Arthur, just get up and leave. Arthur, just walk away. I was like, just go, and because he was like, I had a bad day, and I was like,
yeah.
And there's in the Killing Joke from the comics or whatever, and a buddy of mine actually had got that when it came out back in the day. And he read it, and then we all sat around and read it afterwards, whatever. He's like, you got to read this. It's crazy. He basically kind of told us what the ending was, but none of us believed him. And so we're like reading the story till each one was like taking a turn, basically reading pages. And then, none of us believed it was really going to happen. When it did, we were just all dumbfounded. And there's a quote, and I took a picture of it. I'm not even gonna look it up. It's basically quote. Joker pretty much says that it's a really great quote. I probably should take the time to look it up. If anybody want to go look it up and drop it into the chat, but it's something to the effect like everybody's only one bad day away from insanity. Every sane person is only one bad day away from insanity. And I was just like, fuck. And when you realize that all of that shit was in his head.
Yeah.
And then you think about like how crazy as fuck he's, excuse my language, he has to be, because he's out on a dinner date.
Yeah.
With her, he's at his stand up thinking he's looking at her in the crowd. I mean, that's some beyond fantasy shit. Like he's really pitching her being there. And I don't know. They don't say it all. You have no clue if she's dead or alive. And how much you can trust his memory anyway, because at that point that makes you reevaluate everything, like what's real and what's not, like what part of this movie was real and then where did it go to fantasy, or is all this in his imagination from the very beginning to the end? Because remember she said like how have you been since you've been out? So in other words, he's been put away before.
And they showed that cut of him in the asylum banging his head up against the
and then every time they show the asylum or whatever, and it never says it's the same asylum, but like when he's having his flashback or whatever, it's like nice and neat. Not like at the end of it, the asylum is like when he walks out of the person's, when he's walking and leaving the bloody footprints, the asylum is all nice and clean looking and everything. If you remember, it's all shiny or whatever. Yeah. But then when he goes to visit it to get the records for his mom, it's all
dirty.
So again, what's real and what's not? You know, it's like, is this two different asylums, or is it one of them's real and one of them's his imagination? Like and even like, did he kill the woman at the end? Or did he? He had no reason to, because up to that point, everybody he killed, you hate to say they deserved it, but they were assholes. They've wronged him in some kind of way, and and we don't know what he did with Sophia or not. So assuming he did not kill her, the lady was just asking him questions. She didn't make fun of him. She didn't do anything. But at this point, he's now the Joker. Does he give a damn? And since he's basically once, I know I'm all over the place with this. Let me get to the chat real quick. Sorry, JD. It all takes. Yeah, here we go. All it takes is one bad day to reduce the sanest man to lunacy. That is how
Nice.
far the world is away from where I am. That's a quote. That's a freaking quote.
Yeah.
Oh man. The Joker doing his thing.
Yeah.
Um so okay, so my question to you and the chat, what's real and what's not?
Okay.
First of all, how far into the movie did we get was reality before he starts going down that trail? And then at what levels of craziness was he, And
Yeah.
when did he actually become the Joker? All right. What you guys say there, Tyrese?
Okay. I would say, let me see. I guess everything. Yeah, everything up to when he goes on the. I guess yeah. Excuse me. All of the beginning, like before he's talking to his psychiatrist, and then him working his job at haha, whatever it was called, haha, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the clown plays. I
Oh,
would say all that was real
real quick,
until okay.
Haha's actually does party clowns, magicians, and strippers. Just to throw
That's
that out
funny.
there. That's the place he was
Yeah,
working at.
that's hilarious. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Continue,
I would
sorry.
say everything up until that, and then when he gets on the Maury Franklin show, I would say all that was real, and
Okay.
then I assume, I'm guessing everything else was in his head.
So when he gets to the Murray Franklin show at the end,
Yeah, well,
when he's
I mean,
out,
obviously the part when he sees him on TV and then when he first interacts with him, that's obviously in his head
yeah,
because that didn't happen. But he obviously killed. I would say he killed him, and
yeah,
I would say that's real. I
okay.
would say because that's what let him go into jail or get put into Arkham Asylum if that's where he got put in.
But
And so
if that's the case, what's not saying that at the very end, when he was talking to that last psychiatrist, that wasn't real, and
yeah, true.
everything he told her up to that point was actually a lie. So he's telling the
Yeah,
story. He's sitting in front of her, just telling his story. That's all in his
yeah,
head. Maybe some
yeah,
of it he did. Maybe some of it he did. Maybe he's exaggerating.
yeah,
Maybe he's
true.
making shit up. We don't know. And then that's the only part of it is real. Is literally when he's talking to her, and even the part after with the red footprints is not real because
Yeah.
he's just
Okay.
imagining he had killed her, or maybe that
Yeah.
part was real, and that's the only story to read. Because I was like thinking about all this, like. Because if that's real, then he sits down. The lady asks him. He's telling the story to the lady, and then when he's done, she's like, "What's so funny?" He's like, "Oh, you wouldn't get the joke. The joke is,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know
Yeah.
it's real. I'm just making some shit up, but you eating it up, and I'm gonna murder you."
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then he's la because he just killed this lady. He told this lady this big old lie. Then he murdered her, and he's like walking off all happy and shit until they run after him or whatever. And so.
Yeah.
Which would throw this whole thing up because that's the one thing people were worried about, and I was worried about too. Them taking away the mystery of the Joker. If you really think about this movie, we already see that he's not a reliable source. That
Yeah.
he's imagining him being with a woman that is not, and what else in there could be made up or whatever. So he's not a reliable source. So we really still don't know his history, and he even doesn't know his history because he didn't know he was adopted. So we don't know who his real parents were, his real mom and dad. And of
Yeah.
course, that means his mom been lying to him this entire time. Again,
Yeah.
she's not a reliable source.
Yeah. 'Cause she was committed into a
Yeah,
or yeah.
according to that paperwork. And then
Excuse
on
me,
top of that, but then again, was she telling the truth? Maybe she really did have an affair with Wayne.
Yeah, with-
He's got the
yep.
power to put him away. We see he can be aggressive. So it's like lies upon lies. You don't know who to trust. You want to think, because if you just went into this movie not knowing anything, not knowing any of Batman history, you could sit down and be like, well, wait a minute, is that really his dad? He just had the power to put his mom away, or what? Or this dude, is he crazy throughout, or is he telling the truth? Is he the same?
Yeah.
I love that. I love movies that make you think. I love movies that make you think, that make you feel.
Yeah, leave things ambiguous. Yeah, like you said, basically up to you, the audience, to decide what's real and what isn't.
Agreed. So there's a couple of things. I'm gonna take the Jokers off of here, or whatever. We got all the different Jokers up there, and of course the one on the far right. Not the 1960s, 70s Joker or whatever, but Leto. That's my favorite. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Jared not that part. He should he should have been cast in his role. I think had they cast him in this movie, this would have been, people would be like, this is the best movie of all time.
So I wanna talk about something real quick, and it's something we talked about earlier. Of course, you hear the soundtrack going on in the background, even though there's a commercial right now. And again, this lady that put this together, to me, did an amazing job. I'm gonna throw her photo up here so you all can see who she is and her name, because she has a little bit of a complicated name, at least for me, I should say.
Yeah.
And but what is really cool is that I found an article about her, and I'm gonna bring it up here in 2 seconds here. And so this is from Polygon, and I'll put the links into this later into the description, so you can go back and check this article out. But it says Joker's soundtrack couldn't resist going full Batman movie, and it says all you have to do is listen for it to become obvious. Okay. And actually, you know what? Let me take that back. I'm just going to skip around here. My bad on that. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it still has to do with her. So this one is actually from NPR, and it says composer Hildur Goth na daughter. Ooh, I know I just mutilated that.
Hildur Golfing daughter, I guess.
That might be
you
it.
just say it like that.
Yeah. Finds the
Hildur Golfing
humanity
daughter?
in Joker. And so this is what the article says. The new movie, Joker, is a psychological character study of a lonely, disturbed man who turns violent. Dark, chaotic, unconventional. All descriptions that would make sense for a movie about one of the most infamous and unpredictable villains in comic book history. But in fact, director Todd Phillips wanted this Joker, talking about Joaquin Phoenix Joker, to inspire empathy, to give this comic book character human depth. The director, Todd Phillips, told the composer to transform darkness into sensitive musicality. And so we get the composer here. And it said this composer has a few things in common, and it says she likes to smile a lot, and there's darkness inside of her. But instead of violence, this Icelandic cellist, which is a composer, person who plays the cello, expresses her darkness through music. And here's a quote from her. It says, "My solo music started as a way to really look inwards and to spend time completely by myself with an instrument without any outside dialogue." And I want to say, it's always interesting. You ever notice a lot of creative people are introverts?
Yeah.
From musicians to YouTubers to actors and actresses, a lot of them seem to be introverts, and yet they do stuff to put them on stage in front of maybe hundreds, thousands, or even millions, depending on what it is. So I found it interesting when she says that this is a way of being completely alone with an instrument, even though a lot of times she's playing in front of other people. It says a lot of my music is kind of contemplative, and somehow that always tends to tilt on a darker side. My inner conversation is apparently quite dark. And so it's been saying that she's been playing music since she was 5 years old. And this is what I found very awesome. It says before she was born, her pregnant mother named her literally War, Daughter of God. That was her name.
Yeah.
And
That's
declared that she would be a cellist. The lady,
Wow.
she says, "I'm Icelandic," and she laughs. She's like, "We're all so dramatic." I thought that was freaking pretty good to go.
That's cool.
Let me see. Let me catch up with the chitty chat real quick. Make sure. It says, "Don't know if you talked about it, but the dance scene, simply the best." Yes.
Yeah.
So
We mentioned briefly him dancing on the stairs, if that's what they're talking about.
well, there's a couple of dance scenes, and I thought it was
Yeah.
really interesting. So, like, we see in the beginning when he dances with his mom. Now, that whole situation is awkward anyway, but, not just him dancing with his mom, but just the chemistry and everything. It's just odd, but they're two odd people, so make sure. And I like that it came across like that. You could tell that they were loving, that they care for each other, but they're just freaking weird,
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that, he does that. And the other times you kind of see him dance, at least that I can remember, he's dancing in the sign in the very beginning. He's like, he seems to be happy, of course, until the kids take the sign and run off with it.
Yeah.
All right. So we seen him in kind of a happy moment or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we see him dance with his mom. It's very awkward, but it's kind of sweet. Later on, we see him. This is after he's gotten beat up. He receives the gun from the other clown.
Yeah.
And he does that whole weird dance with the gun thing,
Yeah.
and it's all kind of like sexual and strange or whatever. Then he accidentally shoots the wall or whatever, I thought, which I thought was funny. He's like, "I'm watching a movie," and Kurt actually laughed when he said that or whatever. So she's like, turn it down.
Now, yeah, let's turn it down. Yeah.
And so, so that's okay, that's strange. But then we see him again when he dances, and he's the clown, and he's dancing in front of the kids. Now this is after he had when he built up the courage to go and kiss Sophie. He just basically opened the door up and kissed her.
Yeah.
Which we should know something was wrong there because the door wasn't locked, but I guess it wasn't locked later, so never mind. But he kissed her, so I'm like, oh, he's feeling his mojo. He's got him a girlfriend, and so he's dancing all happy, and I actually felt happy for him. It was a really sweet scene. He's got the kids kind of smiling or whatever. He's dancing. He's in his element. He just had this wonderful date with this woman, that just kind of came out of the blue, and then that gun hits the ground.
Yeah,
and I was like,
his pants.
And when it hit the ground, you could hear a pin drop in the movie theater I was there because everybody was like,
yeah. She was like, oh no, oh. He was scrambling trying to get it.
And I was like,
he kept kicking it.
Yeah, he kept kicking it, and I was hoping like, get the damn gun.
Yeah,
so nobody would see it.
Looking. Oh yeah.
But they saw it. Yeah. And let's see. So we have that take place. Then now I could be missing some of the dance scenes, but I thought it was really interesting that after he killed those three guys who accosted him on the subway, and he takes off. Yeah, this music is perfect actually for this. And he hunts that one guy down after he blew the two other guys away. Self-defense, pow, 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 real quick. Didn't even think about it. But now he's got time to think about the other guy, the third guy. First two was reflex. Hey, they attacked me. I had this gun. It just all happened so quick. Self-defense, flash, temporary insanity. But now it's set in what he's done. The other guy's trying to get away from him. So he's like, oh shit. So now he's going after that guy. So now this is premeditated. I'm going to get this guy. Yeah. And the guy's begging for his life once they get off the train. But we already know how that ends. He takes him out.
Yeah.
So now that was like that transformation. So the first two was self-defense. But then he shoots the other guy. That's no longer self-defense. That guy wasn't going to hurt him anymore. That guy was just trying to get away. And then he freaks out and he runs off. Then what does he do? He's huffing and puffing. It's overwhelming him. Then he stops. And he hears the music. Of course, there's no music, but he hears it. And then he starts to dance. Yeah. And then he gets very fluid with the dancing. So first, all up to this point, his dances would be awkward or comical. But this is not awkward. Nor is this for any type of comedic value. Mm-hmm. And then he pulls back and he does that. I was just like, oh, yeah. That scene was so freaking intense, that all the way through. And I thought that was a very nice way to finish off that, oh my God, all that just happened. Because it caught me off guard. I mean, I knew the guys were going to mess with him because I saw the first trailer, but I didn't know that that's when the murder and stuff was going to happen. That just happened. Shit, I forgot he had the gun. Especially after he dropped it and kicked it around on the thing. I thought he would probably threw the gun away or put it to the side somewhere. Not that he would still have it on him. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if that's the dancing scene you're talking about, then of course we fast forward a little bit later, and then we got the dancing scene when he's coming down the stairs, which is pretty cool. Which is a very cool scene. We talked about how it was a struggle to get up them stairs earlier, but now that he's switched over into the joke, he's no longer Arthur. He doesn't give a damn about what the world thinks. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So let me get to the chitty chat.
So there was one more. Go ahead. What do you say? There was one more dance. It was very graceful. It was right when he got brought out on the Maury. What's his name? It's Maury what show? I'm blanking his name now.
Shit, Maury. It's not. It's
Maury?
Murray. It's Murray.
Murray. Thank you.
I'll tell you in 2 seconds. It's Murray. Where's my outline? It's probably right in front of me. Well, keep going. I'll tell you in a second.
Anyway, just keep going. Yeah. So when he's getting brought out, he does the little he does his graceful dance before he goes out on stage. So that was the last dance.
Yes. Oh yeah.
When they put up the curtains and he comes out and dances. Yeah. So Murray Franklin. That was the last one.
Murray Franklin.
Okay, yeah.
You're right. Yeah, he comes out on that stage or whatever, and that was intense right then because we knew what he planned to do, but that was how it's going to go down. JD says that scene wasn't planned, changed and improvised as they were filming based on the music. Oh, so glad you brought that up. Okay, so come to find out, with the music, the lady, the composer, she is so freaking good at her damn job, people. She actually composed a majority of that music before they actually seen any of the movie. Now,
Yeah.
of course, she did compose some stuff later, or whatever, once she saw the movie, whatever. But because of the improvisation that was going on set, which was a lot. I mean, it was a lot. They let them kind of do their own thing. They would actually listen to the music to get their motivation of how they were going to act out that scene. I thought that was really cool. So that's cool to know that they did basically improvise that on the set. And again, it had to do with the music. JD also says takes place right after Arthur murders 3 Wall Street workers who have taunted him on the subway ride. Arthur runs into the disgusting bathroom and begins cleansing himself by dancing alone. And I like that, cleansing himself. He went into a disgusting bathroom. The world is disgusting. He talked about it there. Like, is it just me, or is the world getting a little crazy? You know? And then he runs into the most disgusting thing. I mean, think about it. First, the subway's disgusting. So you get off of the subway, you run into basically a bathroom near a subway. That's got to be even worse. But he comes out clean. I like that. I like that a lot. That a lot. So another thing I want to show here or talk about, and matter of fact, hey Tiberius, you'll still be there. You can still talk, but I'm gonna let this video play for a second.
Okay.
So y'all give me 1 second while I set this up. Very cool. Again, I will put all the links into this later. And we will come back to this wonderful soundtrack. Again, this is the Joker 2019 soundtrack. It is a pretty doggone awesome soundtrack. I could not find the score yet, but when that comes out, I would definitely let all you know. So I'm just going to bring this over here. This is off of UBTubi. So we're just going to stick a YouTube right over here. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can let that fill out a little bit more. And it'll take a second because my PC is like, why are you doing this to me? So it's going to take a moment, but it will be worth it. And this is the Joker composer. She's talking about the music, doing the music before seeing it. And this is a really cute and interesting video, whatever. And it kind of gives you a little bit peek into her personality. So here we go. My PC's thinking. Again, now you see why I don't do PC games, even though I really want to. So here we go. Hopefully that'll play right. It's taking its time. It's trying to catch up. You can do it. I tried this earlier and it worked perfectly. All right, hold on 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Do.
Color that sort of suggests this is going to be menacing.
Yeah.
And
it's a deep dive.
Yeah.
And what you were talking about, getting inside a character, it's either joyful or terrifying, I would think, as a composer, to try and figure out who Joaquin Phoenix is, one of our greatest, most complicated, most expressive actors, certainly one of my favorites. Do you sit with picture of Joaquin and try and think about it? Have you gotten to that? Is there a picture yet for you to look at?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's been a picture for quite a while. But I think... I think it's safe to, like I said before, because I wrote quite a lot of the music before they started shooting. So the music influenced the performance quite a bit. And,
oh wow!
Yeah.
So the
Joaquin
performers
heard-
listen.
Yeah. Am I allowed to say this?
Yeah.
I guess I'm allowed to say this now. I'm looking up.
She's looking at, we have 2 FBI agents and 2 representatives of the studio standing behind us, and they have really big guns.
I think it's probably, I'm not giving away too much about
I don't think so.
There's no spoilers there.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
exactly. But so yes, so I think the music actually did, and have a lot of
It's remarkable that they're open to it.
Yes.
Some people are not.
No, exactly, and I think it's such a beautiful process, and I much prefer working in this way than just getting image like afterwards, because then your instincts about the character can also just inform them. It's more of a dialogue. What do we think?
Does
the
it
character
evolve
is?
for you? In other words, do you see them, talk to them, play the music, they have notes, and you think, that's a nuance that maybe I should add or subtract?
Yes, of course. I mean, there's a lot of the music is made also afterward. There's a whole bunch of music that comes afterwards as well, but it's more of I think this way of working is just, it's more of a
So again, I just wanted to kind of bring that up because I just thought that was really interesting. That and Tiberius, you should be good. That I just thought that was really interesting. Again, that she literally they just all her direction from Todd Phillips was to, you know, give some empathy to make you kind of feel the Arthur as a human and not just a guy who's going to become Joker. And then that's all direction she had, and she was able to come up with a lot of this music. And then not only was she able to come up with this music, they used that music to actually motivate the actors to get them into the frame of mind and allow them to be able to go out in that space and do and show what we saw. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's very cool.
So Tiberius, what do you think about that, man? That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like, yeah, that's really really interesting that she was able to do that, because I know some composers, some films do that where they compose the music before the film is shot, and then but the traditional ways they do it after the movie shot. So it's not common, but it does happen.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like I said, extremely impressed. All right, so moving right along, let me go ahead and take that wonderful woman off of the and it's cool, you know, because we've been showing images of her or whatever, but to kind of hear her speak and you know her take on all this, I just thought was a pretty neat thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take her off the screen here. It's gonna take me 1 second here. And now that you've seen the movie, you have some time to think about it, and you maybe read some articles and stuff. As far as the controversy goes, what do you think? Is it all just a big, you know, to do about nothing, or is there some merit to what they're saying?
Not really. I'll say it's just really them sort of jumping the gun, because it was before the movie was even released. It was just them trying to paint the movie as this negative thing and trying to push an agenda, and obviously that didn't work because the movie is successful. So I'll just say it's just them jumping the gun and trying to push an agenda, and it wasn't really necessary.
Now,
there's.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, please.
I was gonna say there's nothing that makes you. Well, I shouldn't. Well, if you're, I don't want to say the same person, but you're not gonna go out and want to do what he does, and even then, like his character, they say, oh, you're gonna sympathize with a murder or whatever, but it's kind of like you do, but just in terms of the film itself, not like a real serial killer or anything like that. Like you sympathize with him, but you know he's doing bad things. Like you understand what I'm saying?
No, I understand.
Totally like it doesn't. Anyway, just that like it was all overblown.
Agreed. I do think you know our society is really interesting right now. We all how to say it. There's a lot of problems in this world. We all know that. One thing technology has allowed is for, you know, everyone to be able to basically voice their opinions or whatever it is. You know, some say that's a good thing, some people say that's a bad thing. A lot of people think the world is horrible right now and everything is wrong, you know. And I kind of believe that technology just allows you to see more than you ever saw before. So a lot of the things that have been going on or people are complaining about has always been going on, but you just weren't able to be able to see it from your perspective because maybe where you lived or how you grew up or your religion or whatever the case, you know, your sex or whatever the case may be. So, but with that being said, we do live in a culture that people now it's kind of flipped it, and you have some that would just want to get worked up about stuff. And Tiberius talked about how the guy who did the Colorado shooting was just basically looking for a big venue to do some damage at. And it happened to be that was the big thing to go see that movie. And then he decided to go up and dress like the Joker and all that stuff. Still not sure exactly what that was about, but I guess that was part of his crazy thing once he decided I'm going to do this there or whatever. And so, you know we do have a lot of copycat killers out there. A lot of people want to do what somebody else did. We see it in the school shootings all the time. So, you know, them putting security out because of something like that happened, I get it, you know. But at the same time, as far as just like the critics go and regular people go, you know, to dog out a movie before you even see it, you know, I don't think that was good, you know, especially to the point that you want people to boycott it. It's all horrible and this and that. And then they're talking about, it's not like people are like, hey, I don't like the Star Wars storyline, go boycott the movie to make Disney change their mind. No, they're in this case, they're like, you know, this thing is dangerous to society and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's just a comic book movie, you know, based on a character that we're basically all pretty familiar with or whatever. Then they're going to take a different spin on it, what we know in the past.
And that, I think they did too. They tried to put a race thing to it because it was like, you know, because he's the Joker's white. If you didn't know, they say he's gonna make white people go out and kill black people, which is weird because he doesn't kill any black people in the movie.
No, matter of fact, he
Other
dates
than-
one. Well,
yeah.
possibly the lady at the end. We don't 100% know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And possibly his girlfriend.
Yeah, and possibly his
So-
girlfriend. But the Joker was
Say
just
that.
he was just crazy though. At that point,
Yeah.
he was becoming a murderer. So it didn't Joker didn't see
He didn't
color.
matter. He didn't care. He just
Yeah. So
kill
yeah.
whoever, But that was just a political thing for them to try to put on the movie. To
I
make
actually did see an
people not
article
gonna
with
see it.
that, and I didn't even click on it. I just kept going.
Yeah.
That's how much I
was
gave
just
to
saying,
that.
because all the controversy. I just don't care. It's like it's a good movie. Stop with all the bull crap. Just it's a darker movie, superhero movie. Just go out and enjoy it. Who cares? Just don't. Just get out of here with all that. Just enjoy a movie
Enjoy a movie
without
for
any
what it
political anything. Can we just see a movie without any political anything in it?
is.
Or any of that. Just chill out because it's getting annoying.
Now, your boy Jared Leto, did you hear that he wasn't too happy about
Yeah.
this movie coming out?
Yeah. Because he was upset because with his version, they shot a bunch of scenes that he wished was included. Obviously, yeah, I would too. But like he felt like he didn't get a fair shake because from with that, and then basically saying because with the new movie Birds of Prey, they broke up, so he's not in that.
Yep.
They wrote him out.
Yep. And they canceled the Harley Quinn and Joker standalone movie, and they also canceled his standalone movie.
His standalone movie. So it's like, oh man, you're a good actor, but you sucked as the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, no, he just sucked. But
I was gonna ask that.
It's kind of like,
So, did he suck, or did the material they gave him suck? Because
it's both. Because the material was terrible, but then he was trying to do. There was the parts where he was trying to do Heath Ledger too, like the part when she has the gun. He's like, just do it. He's like, come on, just do it. And it's like, that's you're doing a horrible job at that.
I
The
agree
part where
with
she
you.
crashed the motorcycle.
Everything about this Joker was horrible. So, and it's bad because so the concept of how they like, hey, we're gonna envision this Joker and this is what he's gonna look like and kind of his personality. That sucked.
Yeah.
And so, and then you take this actor and you put inside of that, and some actors are able to take. There's a lot of movies out there that are really good and great movies that if you put a different actor in there, that movie would not be as good. They were able to elevate the writing and that character to another level because their acting is just that good. He obviously was not able to do that. Now, again, because they didn't give him anything to work with, but his take on it himself, because he definitely had his input in there. He had a lot of his input.
Yeah.
Then they were talking about the weird shit he was doing on stage.
Like all the crazy stuff.
He said like a dead pig.
Like used condoms and stuff like that.
Yeah, used condoms and all kind of. I'm like, no, dude. So. I just think I'm like, you know what, man? That shit sucked. Just keep your mouth shut. In my opinion,
Yeah, he was
and
terrible.
why even put that target on your back? So now, and here's some more interesting news. So originally Joaquin Phoenix said this is the only one. I will do this for a standalone movie.
Yeah, they talking about a sequel.
Yeah, they're talking about a sequel, and he seems to be kind of open to it.
Yeah, and it's cool too because how the movie ends. I want to get into this after this. How the movie ends is like I'm all about a sequel.
Yes. Now, question. So we're gonna fast forward again. If anybody got anything they want to throw into the comments, or they want to talk about, or us go into more detail, or you got something that we missed or we messed up on, please do so. This is spoiler free. This is your time to say because I know me, like I can talk to y'all about it. I got some friends that like, man, I got to see the movie this weekend. I can't talk to them about it yet. So I'm looking forward to that. So this is your opportunity to like, hey, just let the Joker flag fly. So fast forward into the end. And thinking about Joaquin Phoenix is now open to a sequel. How do you think that should go? Now, should it be boom right away? Like, okay, now we see it's like the next day, and we see the beginnings of how he's gonna work with this new mass of people that seem to be supporting him. How does that go? You got Bruce Wayne, who's not Batman yet. He's just a kid. He's just orphaned.
Yeah.
So you can kind of go into that, or do you want to fast forward a little bit? Because there's a big gap between when the pearls fall to the ground when his mom gets killed to when we actually see Bruce Wayne fighting. There's a gap in there. Now the trilogy that what Heath Ledger was part of, we kind of see what some of that gap is, his training and stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, we don't know his teenage. It's not like there's a young Batman a Robin running around, like Batman version of Robin, Batboy, So would you want
so they tried to do it like in terms of making him look young and try to in Batman Begins, like here's this part where he's well, no, I guess he was college age maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
But okay, so I guess my thing is, would you want to see the Joker? Because since Batman is definitely going to be in this, I would assume in the future. Do you want to fast forward to now? Joker's going to be a lot older, obviously, and then Batman's going to be in his 20s or 30s fighting him. Do you want to see that gap where the Joker's trying to find his way? How do you picture this going? Like, how would you want to see a sequel to this, considering how dark this is, and now the type of world that Batman's going to be in, the type of character, and any other character's going to be there? Where do you want this to go? Gotham does an interesting take on that.
There's two ways. Oh. So one way they can do it is have it to where, like how you. Well, there's three ways actually. So we'll go 3 ways. The first way is how you said it with him as a kid, and the next day, like basically how you said it can go like that, where I guess it's just the Joker movie, but it has Batman in it as a kid still, whatever. So like that, and then the second way they can do it is have it to where Bruce Wayne, you see him age throughout it. Or well, not throughout the whole thing, but just through a certain amount, have him showing through the years of him aging until he becomes Batman, and maybe like how they did the Joker, how maybe have like the last few minutes of him actually be Batman and him and the Joker stand off for the first like real fight.
Nice.
Or whatever.
Nice.
You can do it like that, or you can have it to where it's already just show a little bit of that, but he's already Batman. Like he's already Batman. He's full fledged. And then you can have cut, I guess, cutting back to him thinking back or like flashbacks to him as a kid and him growing up as, but he's already established as Batman and having it throughout the movies showing you how he became Batman.
Okay, so so if I'm understanding this correctly, so this Batman will already be Batman, but we will have flashbacks throughout the movie. Maybe Joker will do certain things, or Batman to be in certain situations, and then you'll kind of see the different parts of him, like when he was a kid, as a teenager, maybe as a college student, etc. He becomes up like that.
Throughout it.
And the Joker would just be doing his Joker stuff all throughout.
Yeah.
Okay. Will we also see with those flashbacks? Will we see maybe some flashbacks to the just became Joker like those first couple of years, because if we skip, that's a lot of material to skip. If he's the Joker now, because it was very one part about this was we got to see Arthur Fleck, which was really interesting. So I think it'd be just as interesting to see like this new Joker, okay, he's looking around, he's got all his fame. They gotta time it out, but they can't do it to how to where they have both. I guess for this last scenario that we picked, how to where they have both of them. Doing flashbacks or whatever, or See what I think that, and JD says that they did a really good job in Gotham as far as showing some younger Batman, and I need to check out that show. I'm really bad about catching shows when they're actually on live.
Yeah, same here.
I usually end up binge watching them a couple of years later, so I will get to Gotham one day and probably binge watch it over like a 4-day period, and then
I started the first season a long time ago, but then that was it. I just like I said, I may start a season or maybe watch a couple episodes, but then I just sort of lose interest in it if it's not something I'm really kind of interested in, because but so
what I think would be really cool, because I think it would just be a unique thing. He's dealing with this fame and infamy, so he's famous to some people, he's a hero to some, he's a murderer to others. The chaos that the guy running for mayor, Thomas Wayne, is now dead. The CEO of this very large company that obviously has a big impact economically on Gotham City. You kill the CEO of a company, and murder and all this kind of stuff, and it just happens. It wasn't like the CEO is sick. If that happened in real life, the stock, a lot of those companies go down. They kind of crash.
Yeah.
And so, so you already got the trash thing going in Gotham. You already see the have and have-nots. Now one of the haves got murdered by one of the have-nots. So that's got to be a huge fallout. Maybe the police become overbearing now to the masses. Maybe the rich even take more of their money away. So now you got this economic turmoil even going bigger and faster within Gotham, which may feed the people rallying with the Joker to take away the anarchy and all that kind of stuff, which could also maybe hint at other villains. You might see little things like I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting. On top of that, how now that's just Gotham. All that's going on in the background, but how is he dealing with all this? He's murdered the one person who's been there for him his whole life, his mom.
Yeah.
So she's no longer in the picture. So she's not that. Sophia, we don't know what happened with that. He also killed his hero, Murray Franklin.
Yeah.
And not a guy who may or may not be his dad, because he's still not 100% sure, because he found that letter that said TW on the back, is dead.
Yeah. Well, this is spoilers, so I watched the video and somebody was saying that when he was looking at the photo, I guess it was his mother or whatever, and when he crumbles the photo because he was upset because after he found the newspaper clippings and he's reading about what happened to him or whatever, his story. I didn't see this in the movie, but somebody said on the back of the photo it said, "To my loving son." It's Arthur, and then it said TW, Thomas Wayne. So I don't know if that's
Yeah.
So if that's true, then
it did say that, but did she write that on there, or is that real?
Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because remember, she's crazy. He was sending letters off. Why she wouldn't write that in her delirium or whatever, True. But again, that throws doubt in his head that could actually be his dad. Because remember, he kills her because he thinks it's not. That she lied to him and she had all this abuse happen, but then he finds this after her death, after he murdered her. If I remember correctly, I think that's the correct order. Or was it prior?
No, I think it was prior because remember he went there, got all the information. I think he went. I don't know. I want to say it was prior.
Okay.
He killed her afterwards.
But again, it makes it even cloudier. It makes it grayer. What's real and what's not. And so him reflecting on his time as Arthur. Maybe he's like schizophrenic, at that point. Because remember, he's got like 7 things wrong with him, and we only know about they've only diagnosed the one about him laughing or whatever, but they say he's got 7 mental disorders. At least he's taking 7 different medications for the 7 different things he has going on. So they can play in parts of that. Like Arthur's kind of trying to fight back, because everybody did, again, that he murdered up to this point that we're aware of deserved it. At least we think, except for possibly the lady at the very end, and we still don't know about Sophia. So... okay, all right. Does anybody else have any ideas on where they can go from this? And then, I think so. We saw Arthur, and then the beginnings of Joker. Then we see this new Joker still trying to figure his way, and then I think we should see a seasoned Joker. So those are our 3. And now the seasoned Joker. Now we can get into Batman, because now Batman's old enough to take him on or whatever. And maybe Batman's been told, hey, it was a clown, so he might think it was a joke. I don't freaking know. He figured out that was the guy back in the day to put his fingers in his mouth, which is weird, but that's something they like to do in DC. So so now that's how you phase over into this darker Batman. That could also be possibly a standalone. It doesn't tie into the other. I don't know. I just really think it's cool. We can see. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say about this, and I'm jumping all over the place here, but they have just proven. DC, again, if you pay attention to one damn thing at a time, you can make something good. Yeah. Instead of just like, we got to catch up with Marvel now. We're going to do it in 2 movies. Woo! Take your time. Let stuff marinate. You dropped a bunch of stuff. Hell, you can go off and make a totally different movie. Hell, you can make a Batman movie if you want. Just a standalone Batman movie. And and all of a sudden, there's some stuff in there that kind of hints at the Joker. And then you do a 3rd movie where it all meets up or whatever. Kind of like Marvel did. They had their stingers. But if you took those stingers out, a lot of those movies can really do standalone by themselves. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do a stinger in this one, but the stinger is, hey, there's Bruce Wayne. Hey,
so that was the stinger.
That is the stinger. You got introduced to everybody.
You realized his family getting murdered. So
you saw his family. You saw his mom and dad get murdered. You see his butler that's going to be around him for the rest of his life, and you see him, and you see Wayne Manor in the background. You got everything you need. That is your stinger. Yeah. And I like that. And then do another movie with the same way. You already got Arkham Asylum, so we already know some other crazies out there. And now we got all this turmoil. We got the first supervillain. So then you have other crazies maybe spinning out of all this chaos or whatever. And then, you don't ever have to see them. It may be just their regular name on a placard or whatever in the background. And then somebody else will be like, oh, man, that's Killer Croc, even though they never show it, And they can just go off and keep doing that. And then they can connect this stuff later if they want to. I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, as far as this goes, them doing the sequel, obviously they're going to spend some more money because the budget of this first movie was 55. I was thinking to spend more money. So do you think... okay, I'll say they do how they went from Batman Begins to Dark Knight, because as far as raising the bar, and if they do go the route of having Batman in the movie, do you think they're gonna keep it? Obviously, it still be rated R and have it dark, but do you think they're gonna have more action if they go down that route? If they're gonna
That
with the Dark Knight treatment. This second film is going to be
I got you.
a bigger version.
A bigger version of this. Honestly, I think if they're gonna keep it with this form, they got to keep it gritty and kind of real, because that's what people are liking about this. You already got you had the Heath Ledger. I keep saying Heath Ledger, but the Christian Bale trilogy or whatever, big budget, whatever. So you could still have that in that world, but remember, this is different. This is kind of a separate thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you keep you focus more on Batman being a detective, which they kind of do, and they don't really do that really well in the movies. Yeah, he's figuring stuff out, but it's a lot of technology. But in the comics, he's a damn like Sherlock Holmes over there.
They haven't done that. Yeah, like you said, they haven't really done that in the movies. Really.
Yeah. So this is their opportunity to really allow that. Yeah, you can have some gadgets here and there, and we can maybe see how that kind of comes about. But basically, you know, he's a detective. He's freaking Batman, so he can still fight and do all sort of stuff. But we can see them play. We can see the mind games back and forth between them. I think that'll be the way to go. And then so you can still have your couple of action scenes here where that budget will kind of show or whatever.
Yeah, the Batmobile or car chase or whatever.
some stuff here and there, but you don't need to have it doesn't need to go a CG fest like at the end of Wonder Woman, you know, which I like the first Wonder Woman, but that third act when it just like, you know, all of a sudden he becomes this big flaming god or whatever. It's like, oh man, you know. So, you know, you had something good and you had something great, then you just end good. In this case, I think if you just keep your nose to the grindstone and keep it in this world, you can go real far with that. Real far. And you could bring in a Harley Quinn. You know, we like the Harley Quinn we got now. Shit, she can double dip. She can be in both of them. She's hot. I take it, you know. But you could bring in this crazy Harley Quinn or whatever. You know, you could really play with that. Matter of fact, we can have a whole movie. Again, the Joker is inside the asylum. Maybe he breaks out from time to time. But we know right off the bat, because that lady's name, that's the future Harley Quinn. That's Dr. Quinzella, whatever her name is. And she's interviewing him the whole time. You're like, shit, you the first? No, that's freaking Harley Quinn. But they don't go that route yet, and they can play it. It could be a slow burn. So at any point, basically, if you do a Joaquin Phoenix contract movie, he does this is great. He said, yeah, I'll do another one. He does another one. But you set it up in a way that if he doesn't come back, nice.
We're tiny, we're toony,
we're all a little loony, and in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. Welcome to Mom's Universe. Thank you so much there. Co Dries. Thank you for the follow. We love you having you here. Thank you. You are coming in on the spoiler review, obviously, and we're just talking about anything and everything spoiler. Not only spoiler, we're daydreaming about where this could go, how this could go. Mm-hmm. We're reflecting on some of the other past movies. This is a no holds bar Joker, everything around that situation, DC festival going on right here. If you want to check out our non-spoiler review, just hit that video or one of the other videos. But with that being said, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And welcome to Mom's Universe. Let me Tiberius, is it okay if I show him a little love?
Yeah, man, go ahead. Let's do it.
Just a little love. I mean, a lot of love or a little love. I mean, I can give him like the big heart love, you know, and that's pretty nice. But should I give him some more? You know what? Is it okay, Tiberius? You said I can?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, 1 second. Let me turn the music off, everybody. Quiet. And basically, just really want to welcome you to the neighborhood. Uh-oh, silence. Is it doing it?
It's on the hearts. It's screen. I didn't hear anything, but it's on the hearts.
Interesting. All right, 1 second.
Came in later. It came in later. You know? Yeah, so the hearts. Yeah, but all right. So it showed the image of the hearts by itself with no sound, and now the hearts aren't there and it's playing the music.
Okay. Well, we welcome it to the neighborhood, so it's all good. This is the most unprofessional train wreck of a stream.
Yeah, it is. But hey, man, we're having fun. So hopefully everyone out there is having fun too.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, again, thank you for being part of the show. Drop any comments you got in there, and it'd be good to go. And JD over on YouTube says, cheers. We are streaming on YouTube and Twitch currently right now. So that's what's up. Came across this stream via Discord. Oh, that's what's up. Hey,
Nice.
Discord actually worked. Yay. Randomly enough, if a person types in Discord, it actually pop up in the picture up above you. Boom. But, you know, yeah, very cool. Very cool. Welcome to the stream. Look at that. Being on multiple platforms does work. That's what's up. Nothing wrong with a shameful plug. All right. So anyway, so that's how I basically feel as far as how they can go with this. Keep it down, dirty and gritty. Keep it real. Because, like, you think about this Joker in this Gotham City, there was really no fantasy in it. As far as there was no lasers coming out of the sky. There was no Avengers flying around.
Nope.
No, there was no killer crocodile. You know, there was.
Yeah.
That shit could happen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I think makes this movie very good and that's what the way I think they need to go with this. Because DC, they wanted to be dark with the Superman movies and all that, and people really wasn't ready for it or wasn't all about that with that character, whatever. They kind of drained the humor out of it. But this is a perfect vehicle for them to get all that out of their system. And that way they can go and basically make their other lineup of movies, the Avengers and all that stuff, more in the vein of the first Wonder Woman movie. I really enjoyed that movie, and I think that's the way they should go. If they're keeping stuff in the PG range and PG-13 range, you got jokes, you got action, you got good actors and actresses who want to be there, you got well-written storylines, and you take your time again, kind of do what Marvel. If you're gonna do what Marvel does, take the good notes. Most of their movies are very standalone movies. They got a couple of movies that are bridge movies that, you really do need to kind of maybe see the movie around them to understand it. But 90% of their movies are standalone movies. Do that, and then you can drop your little Easter eggs and tie them in slowly but surely. You don't have to be all in the face about it. But this is their chance to make some slow burn good stuff. That's when I like the X-Men, not X-Men original, whatever the hell it was, but the Logan standalone movie.
Yeah.
That's good. And I think that's something they can do with Deadpool as far as Disney. So they can have their rated R Deadpool doing Deadpool shit. You know, if you want to bring like an X-Men character too, kind of like they were doing with when it was over at Fox or whatever. You know, when they had, what's the girl's name? That does the Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't Cyclops, it was the big dude.
It was Colossus.
Thank you, Colossus. So I think that's cool. So I think they continue on that line, and then when they want to bring him in to mess around with the Avengers or the X-Men or whatever, that or rest of the X-Men, then they bring it down to that PG-13 level. Because we've already seen him do R stuff. He can hint at it in the other movies, but, you know, I think that's how that
plus they already had a PG-13 Deadpool with their Christmas movie they did. Well, it was just
I didn't even see
extra
that.
footage. And I haven't seen it either, but that's PG-13.
I'm gonna call you Cole if that's okay. Cole says DC needs to be different from Marvel. R-rated movies like Joker, character studies, etc. And I agree with that. This is a great way for them to stand. Oh Lord, Frankenbeans. Hey, you go. Oh, that's horrible. That was horrible. There you
sorry,
go. Yeah.
Plug my phone up.
You should be sorry. That was
20%.
20% shameful? Is that? Oh man, you kind of threw me off there.
So now my phone fell over as I was trying to plug it up.
Right. That's what you're telling us.
But but in all seriousness, Joe, that was
shame.
I knew
Shame.
that you would like that.
Shame.
That's all for you.
You don't know me at all.
Shame on you.
That's all for you.
Shame.
All right.
Shame on you. This was serious, but it turned into something fun.
Tiberius.
Yeah.
So we've talked about some of the actors that we didn't mention in the non-spoiler review because we didn't want to spoil the character.
Yep.
Hold on one second here. Tell me something else about this movie. Tell me something about this movie you didn't like. Is there anything about this movie you didn't like? One thing. Just one. Put you on the spot.
Yeah, there was one thing, but I guess we already answered it.
What's that?
Was the whole thing about how did he? Because like we already answered it, but how did he know that when he's telling his psychiatrist about the joke, and he said you wouldn't get it, and he shows Bruce Wayne's parents murdered. How would he know that? But we already kind of explained it. So that at the time when I watched it, I was like, that don't make sense. But we talked about it, so I guess it does kind of make sense if you look at it through that lens of it taking place in his head.
Hey, real quick, Cole is double dipping on YouTube and Twitch. He just came over to YouTube to hit that like button. I definitely appreciate that. That's what's up. Hit that sub if you haven't done so. When we get to 500, we are going to do we're at like 431 or 430. We keep fluctuating. We get up to 430, then we'll fall down like a couple of subscribers for some reason. But we're creeping up on that 500 mark, and we're definitely going to do a nice special show with a pretty good giveaway. I've already kind of decided what the giveaway is going to be. We do tasty tests here on this channel, and it's a video because it was so freaking big and ginormous that I never got to finish editing it or whatever. But we're going to give away what we actually tried in that video. It's in an orange box, Tiberius. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So I'm going to give one of those away. As it get closer, I'll let you guys know what that's going to be, and I'll also let you know how you are entered. But basically, the way it's going to work, the more stuff that you subscribe to us on YouTube, you subscribe to us on Twitch, yada, 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 the more of those you get, the more chances, more things you follow us on, basic platforms, the more opportunities you get to win that prize. And that prize is actually, it's when I tell you it's 1,000% worth it. Tiberius, is it worth it? Is it cool?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Cool.
It's really good.
So that's what we're going to do for 500 again. When it gets a little bit closer, I'll let you know what that is. I'm still coordinating that. It's we like to try exotic things from different places in the world. So this probably be something that you haven't had before, but we think you'll like it. So that's what that's about. So thank you for that. That's pretty cool. Thank you over the double dipping. Yeah. All right. So one of the characters that I want to talk about a little bit more because we talked about him, but we didn't spend too much time on him because, again, it was a spoiler review, was Robert De Niro. Because we knew just by the trailer, at least if you watched the first trailer, well, we didn't want to talk about him basically becoming an asshole because they kind of hinted at it, you kind of know it, but I didn't want to go too much into that because I didn't want to give that away just in case the person wasn't paying attention. With that being said, bro, how do you feel about the screen time of Robert De Niro? Because if you think about this entire movie, he only was in it for a couple minutes. But what do you think about that? Thank you, friend Leo.
I was okay with it, like, because he served his purpose. He basically he gave the Joker his name too, because he was like, he called him a Joker whenever he put up the footage. Yeah, because he put up the footage of.
I don't think he did.
Him, because he said check this Joker out. He says it like whenever he's showing his audience.
See, I thought he said, check this guy out. I'm going to go see the movie again, but I remember he's like, you called me a Joker. And then the guy, and he's like, really? Did I? And I thought about it. I'm like, I actually don't think he did. I think the Joker ended up in his head.
I could have sworn he said, check this Joker out, but maybe he did. Okay.
Oh, okay. Anyway. Wait a minute. No, I'm getting corrected from the chat. They say he called him Joker. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Check this Joker out.
Okay.
All right. Like, so he gave him his name, but I think he was in the film the right amount of time because he served his purpose. He was there kind of as a father figure in that dream that he had, because he looked up to him, and then he basically just used him to put him on the show to make fun of him. And he gave him his name, and then when they had their little standoff, he was saying he was wrong for killing those three people, saying that they were good citizens and they didn't deserve to die and that sort of thing, and the Joker basically was upset, saying that you only brought me on here to make fun of me, so you get what you deserve basically, and shot him in the head.
Yeah. But did you think he deserved to die though? I mean, that's
no, not really. Nobody deserves to die. But at the same, even if they're cruel or mean, nobody deserves to die. You punch him in the face or something, he deserves to die. He should have punched him in the face or something. They're like, well, if it's PG-13, probably would have just.
Yeah, he probably put it.
He probably would have had that fake boxing glove.
Yeah, it'll come out. He pulled the gun out and thudded, and he probably.
Oh yeah.
Your friend Leo says I shared your stream on YouTube. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, friend Leo is pretty cool people. If y'all don't know Friendly O, definitely check his channel out. He's real good people, and it's in his name, the Friendly O. Nice. He is very cool. If you like anime, and you like being around somebody positive, and you like a good chat, that's a good channel to be on. So if you're on YouTube, definitely click on his video, his channel, hit him with a sub, and you will not be upset that you did so.
Nice.
So okay. So yeah, I'm so glad they did this rated R because that's another thing. Not only, you really got to give it up to DC. Not only did they say we're gonna do a standalone movie with one of our big characters, one of our big IPs. No, it's not Batman. It's actually his villain. It's Joker. Like what?
Yeah.
So okay, cool. So wait a minute. So it's gonna be Joker. Yeah, it's gonna be it's a Joker movie. Oh, but so Batman's gonna be in it, of course. No, What?
No. Well, he's in it, but not like how you think he's in
But
it.
I mean, think about the pitch of this, you know. And so he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna do. So I mean, that's how brave a DC was. They's like, we gotta do
Yeah.
something so different. So not only say we're gonna do somebody big, but we're gonna do their villain. And then not only are we gonna do their villain, that person, their arch rival, who is Batman, in this case, is gonna have a very small role. I mean, his presence is gonna be felt, the Wayne presence, and how that affects their life. But as far as you're not gonna see Batman and Joker duking it out, that's just not gonna happen. You know. Yeah. And then on top of that, we're going to take the character who we don't know who their background is. That's part of what makes them so interesting. And we're going to give you their background.
Yep.
I mean, all the way. And screw toys.
Okay.
Hey, it's an R-rated movie. So it's an R-rated stream. Fuck some toys.
Yeah. Yeah.
We going to have an R-rated movie.
Yeah. But about that, though, this was Todd Phillips who pushed this because the studio didn't want to do it. They were kind of nervous, like, you know, we sell Joker pajamas, so like he said it took them basically a year to agree to it because he really pushed them, like, come on, I really want to do this movie. Like I said, he wanted to make a small, you know, character study about the Joker. They were really against it, saying, we don't know because, you know, we, like I said, we sell pajamas and lunch boxes we sell stuff to kids.
Yeah.
So they're very nervous about it, but then they kind of finally went into it and said, okay, we'll do it.
Interesting. Kodak says the director said we wanted to make a movie about a mentally deranged person, but no one would watch it. No one would watch it. So we slapped the Joker name on it so people would check it out. Nice. Interesting. Okay. So that's, you know, knowing now that the director pushed this, even more impressed because look what he directed before that. Now, you talked about comedians, and a lot of times comedy comes from a dark place, and that's why it could be humorous, and we can find it humorous because it's like, oh, wow, he went there, they said that. But this dude, he did and they're not bad movies by any stretch of imagination. I actually enjoyed this movie, but the director, Todd Phillips, you know, his movies before this was The Hangover. I mean, that's, again, is impressive that, you know, and of all people, he pushed for this, you know.
Yeah.
Man, that's that's I'm impressed with this. I'm impressed with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, if you don't know some of Todd Phillips' work, well, you might recognize this poster right here, and I thought it was a pretty funny movie. But yeah, this is what he's known for: the Hangover movies, and what is it? I got it right here in front of me in my little notes here. Old School, yes. Yeah. And so, again, I think that's just pretty interesting. Oh, and by the way, he's got the director, Todd Phillips, and the writer, which is named Scott Silver. They're both attached to an upcoming Hulk Hogan biopic. That should be interesting. And it doesn't say he's going to play Hogan, but you would think he's going to be. But attached to this is Chris Hemsworth, a.k.a. Thor.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty freaking cool. So, again, DC took the chance. They didn't go out and get a director who have done horror or suspense before, or anything like that, you know, mind-bending movies. They went out and got a comedian director, and they took all these chances, and they hit a home run. You got, you know, these studios do so many of, like, I'm going to do a blah, 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 part 5, you know, that, you know, and then this is a reimagining of a character, but again, it's done in such a different way and such a different light. I mean, that'd be like them doing a Rocky movie, but instead of Rocky, it's Drago, you know, the big Russian dude, you know, or Mr. T, you know, his character or whatever. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And for them to come up and do this, bravo.
Yeah.
You think the House of Mouse would ever do something like this?
Probably not. I mean, maybe under a different, not because all the stuff's under their umbrella. So no, I mean, you know, they have done rated R movies and stuff under Touchstone, but I don't think that exists anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Touchstone does. Oh, and one more thing about the director, then we'll move on. I want to get to the chat. The director, he actually said, and I read it on something. I've read so much stuff, but basically that he, and maybe you even mentioned this in one of our conversations, that the director basically said that he was, because of the environment we live in, the quote unquote, he didn't say PC environment, but basically he was saying that it's too hard. He can't make the type of comedies he would make because he's worried that he would offend somebody, which he doesn't want to do, you know? And so he's like, it's just easy for me to go into this type of movies where I can basically go into horror, suspense, and all that stuff. And that's really interesting when you think about it, that this guy who was very popular not too long ago in some of these raunchy comedies or whatever is like, I don't think those
now
type
you
of
can't really
comedy.
do that now.
And a bunch of directors and even some actors like from the 80s and 90s and some of those like movies that we grew up with. Like, could you imagine them trying to make American Pie right now?
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and I love American Pie.
That's not politically correct.
Yeah,
It's like, who cares?
Yeah, and again, I'm not banging on the whole, what's correct and what's not as far as that stuff goes. There's a lot of good grievances out there that are real. And I'm not saying they're real or not real, not up to me, but I understand why people express themselves. But with that being said, I hate that some of this stuff, like what we were just talking about, you can't make Porky's, from the I don't know. There's a whole bunch of those comedies. I got a bunch of them around me. That's why I'm looking, because everything's. You couldn't even make Spaceballs. I love freaking Spaceballs.
Yeah.
But some of the stereotypes. When old boys comb the desert. You found anything yet? We ain't found shit. It's the brother with the afro with the afro pick. That's funny as hell. If they made that movie now, people be pissed off as hell.
It's like, come on, man. It's comedy. Like,
it's comedy.
You can't laugh.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Don't take stuff serious. That's the whole point. It's humor, and if the people who the joke is about aren't upset, then you should be upset.
Yeah. And again, if like I said, I mean, and that's again, I think they need to pull back, because again, now you got a director who is really popular and he feels he can't even make those type of movies or whatever. I think there is something to say for thick skin. And sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me type deal, and words that can be hurtful. A lot of people have died off of words, but I mean, that's the last crap they hear, or they call a person something and then everybody gets riled up in this whole mom mentality, and the next thing you know, somebody swinging from a tree. I get that. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about, going back to the controversy of this movie, like, oh my God, you're basically, they said you're demonizing people with mental health issues.
Yeah. I
don't think so. Again, this is a character study of the Joker, a comic book character, and trying to explain kind of why the way he is, and I thought they did a really good way about it. And as a matter of fact, if anything, it talks about like his funding was cut. Remember that?
Yeah, it's funny. Yep. Yeah.
and you look at some of the policies that we have in here in the U.S. or whatever, and not just under this administration. So it has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican, but the things they funded, they've defunded over the years. A lot of, if you ever drive around, you ever notice a lot of homeless people, a lot of them seem to have some mental issues. That's because they cut out the funding to all those hospitals back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s, and they just never funded them back. So a lot of these people out here do need help. But even then, those hospitals were like Arkham Asylum. They were a horrible place to be, so they weren't even doing it right then. So, and it kind of puts a spotlight on them. Like, here's a guy who actually is trying to get help. He's under medication. And what happens? They cut the funding. And if you notice, everything goes downhill because he can't take his medication anymore.
Yeah.
So before that, he said, all I have are evil thoughts. But he wasn't acting on them.
Yeah.
All I have is evil thoughts, but he wasn't acting on them. They cut the funding and the medication. His life was shitty beforehand, and it just was shitty afterwards. Now all of a sudden he can't deal with the shittiness.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty interesting. But instead of people looking at it from that point of view, they're like, "Hey, you're making fun of me." No.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me get to the chat real quick. Sorry. Cole says, but he did do the research, so I don't mind. Gotham feels like Gotham. I agree with that. So he did a good job. I agree with that. We talked about that how Gotham feels like Gotham. They did a really good job with that. He says, Joaquin Phoenix stated in an interview that he is open to a sequel. He's talking to Todd about it. I can link to it if you want to. You know what? I actually have that article, and I don't have my app up in front of me, so on my computer. If you try to drop a link in, it'll just delete the link. But I will put that in the description. But yes, you are right. You're 100% right. I have so many tabs open right now. So I will get that in there. But you're right. He is open to it. It's basically exactly what you said is true. You know what? I forgot to turn the music off. Let me put the music back on. And there's like one or two more things I want to talk about. Then I'll open it up. And if everybody's good, we might go on and do something else. I know Tyrese got to leave soon. So.
Yeah, I get out about 5:30. We'll have to leave at 5:30.
Let me find it here. I'm in Mom's Universe email. If you want to send us any art, matter of fact, one of the things we want to start doing this more often. We want to have guests on. Matter of fact, check out our Twitter if you haven't. I got to be a guest on a podcast out of Canada. It was really awesome yesterday. It was freaking awesome. And so if you want to check that out and kind of ask questions about Mom's Universe and some other things, it was really fun. That was my first time being a part of something like that. It was a good time. It's in the video. Well, check the link on Twitter or whatever, and you'll see it. So, with that being said, matter of fact, here is that Joaquin Phoenix, and I'm going to drop this into the chat if y'all give me a second. It says, the name of this is Joaquin Phoenix might be interested in making a Joker sequel, and this is off of CNET. So, I will drop this into... I can I? Doggone it. I don't have it set up that way. So, anyway, yeah, I'll put that in there later, but I do have it up in front of me. Two-Face. I see something about Two-Face. What do you guys think about?
Saying they would do a Two-Face movie.
Oh, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, yeah.
His story is tragic, or maybe Two-Face. Again, I will be down for that. If they do it in this vein, in this universe, this Joker-esque universe, yeah, they can run with it. Because you think about it, Batman is just dark anyway. He's a Dark Knight. Yeah. He really is. He's supposed to be like, yeah, he has a moral compass and he doesn't kill, but it's a shitty place he lives in. Gotham is effed up as hell, you know, and he is the villain, the hero that they deserve, you know, and all those villains are a product of Gotham. So they should reflect Gotham, and Gotham is a dark place. That's one of the reasons I like the first Batman or Batman 89, because you get that. Bruce Wayne is a little unhinged. He's not normal. He admits that. And the Joker is a product of Gotham, and you see that, and it's just hell. Gotham made him. He fell over in that vat of acid, you know. And he was a crime boss before that, so he wasn't good to begin with, you know. And I thought that was really cool. I really liked that. And when they shied away from that because they wanted to sell toys and merchandise, and they got him, you know, the Penguin was to me in the right vein. And a lot of people necessarily, I liked the movie with the Penguin in it, but a lot of people didn't during the video. A lot of matter of fact, they said one of the reasons they changed. They said that kids were so creeped out by the Penguin, but he's supposed to be a creepy. He is a creepy character.
Yeah, I mean, they said they couldn't sell Happy Meal toys.
There was no way of making Penguin like kid friendly, which I love, you know. And so, but again, then we go down the road and we got bat nipples.
Yeah, and bat butt.
And bat butt, yes, and bat butt. So I totally would be cool with that. I think it would be awesome if they did a Mr. Freeze, because you're right, his story is pretty tragic. Why he's doing what he's doing, how he became who he is, his motivations, all that stuff. Same thing with Two-Face. You had a guy who basically was kind of like the angel of Gotham, and but he basically failed, you know. And I think that's cool. And then he has that dichotomy about himself, even when he's bad, you know, flipping a coin. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yes. Well, Mr. Tiberius, we've been going at this for a while. I don't want to hold you any longer because I know you do have to work tonight. Please tell them where you're going to work and what that's about, and where can they find you at and all that good stuff.
Okay. But one more thing before we do that, I just want to get the last Heath Ledger sort of reference.
Sure. Of course. I'm not rushing you. I just know you got to leave, so I'm
going
off
I know.
Your schedule.
I'm just going to do this and say while working, and I guess skate off, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So this last reference, this is the sequence, basically when he embraces being the Joker. When he's on the cop car, you see all the mob of clowns cheering him on. You see him take the blood that's in his mouth or around his mouth, and he puts the smile on his face, and his hair is all messed up, and his makeup's all smeary. It's kind of look like the Heath Ledger Joker with the scar.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So that's a cool little nod, and that is like he's officially the Joker now.
Yes.
So, and I had the biggest smile on my face. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But
you know what? That is funny because his murder of the 3 people on the subway was in defense, except for the one guy where he kind of chased down and killed him. We talked about that. And then, so like, to me, that was like his first turn as the Joker. But, and then, so he ends up killing Murray, again, someone who wronged him and embarrassed him and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's not necessarily self-defense, but he's doing something wrong. But again, this is somebody who wronged him. And, but, you know, he's still in his regular clown makeup that he normally would wear if he was just out dancing, except for he doesn't have a nose and a hair, you know. But then when he does that with the blood, you know, that is like that. That's like the complete transformation, because you know, not only he's been accepted, he's actually he's the zenith. He's got this adoring crowd around him. There's all this chaos breaking out, you know, and it's like, oh wow, and then that's pretty cool. And I like it. It's not a scar. You know, the scars are cool, whatever, for Heath Ledger, but I like that they didn't even do that. They just like, you know, it's makeup or blood in this case with makeup. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool. The smile was amazing. Chills. That was amazing. Yes, it was. 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. This movie was cool from start to beginning. I thought they did a really good job. We talked about on the atmosphere and tone or whatever, but that they set, and you know, it was just creepy. It was unsettling. The violence was extreme and came out of nowhere. Oh my God, when he killed old boy. I forgot when he killed the clown, when the two dudes visited him from his work.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Like, you know, when he put him down. So the grabbed the scissors and he put it in his back pocket. So I'm like, okay, something might gonna go down, or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, he might kill them or whatever. But when he does it, it still caught me off guard. He's got the scissors, and it still catches me off guard. It's like, fuck! I was like, oh shit!
Yeah.
And it's not the gurgling and the blood, and then he takes his hand and starts bashing against the freaking. Oh my God! I'm like, oh dude!
Yeah.
And the other dude can't do shit about it. He can't.
Yeah.
And because he's caught off guard, so he's like, oh fuck! And he's like froze, and the splattering of blood is just going on his face. I was just like, and then when he I was like, and when he's done with killing old boy, I'm like, oh, now he's gonna kill him. He didn't even do anything to him at all. Matter of fact, they were making fun of him he wasn't. He laughed, fake laugh with it. It was a fake laugh, But I mean, the dude was being picked on. Nobody respected the guy at the workplace, just like him. He was a loner, just like him. You know, so I'm like, oh, now he's gonna kill this dude because he can't leave any loose ends. And so when he's like, go ahead. And I was like, oh, he's fucking with him. That's fucked up. But then then he's like, no, you could go. And like, oh, he's really gonna let him go. And then he's like, he can't reach it. I'm like, I understand. Yeah. I'm like, this is so fucked up. I'm like, it's such a fucked up scene. Could you imagine being him? Put yourself in that place.
I know that was he couldn't reach the lock. Yeah, and then he actually fakes, like, jumps at him, like, scares him.
Yeah, he's like, ah. He's like, I just listen.
Yeah.
What the fuck wrong with you?
Yeah.
I was like, that's so effed up. Cole said, I legit thought he would kill him. I laughed so much, I felt bad for laughing. I know, right?
The people, in the audience that I was in, they actually were laughing at that. I mean, it was funny, but it was like a
it's a fucked up funny
laugh. Yeah,
which is again going back to the director who did comedy. When you're supposed to laugh, you laugh, even though it was fucked up and uncomfortable, and you feel shitty for doing it. You still laughed. That's just good ass writing. That is good writing. That is great writing. And so he puts the chain up, he lets it away, and then we come back to a moment of Arthur when he says basically something to the effect that you were always nice to me, or something. You were the only one that was nice to me there. He said something, I don't remember the exact word, but that's basically what he said. And I was just like, so you had this moment that he came back. He's still crazy. He's gone now. He's killing people. He's straight up killing people. But he has this moment of like touching. Like he let the guy go. He didn't have to do that. And then he also leave him with these parting words. Yeah. Like you were nice to me. Thank you, basically. Yeah. I'm like, man, this is freaking good. It's good. Yeah. You know, and the whole time, you know, you're going on this ride with him, seeing things from his perspective, and then knowing that what he's going through, his life, what he's finding out. Now he's off his medication or whatever, yada, yada, yada. And you just, this whole deep dive. And I'm like, they did such a good job. They could have, this could have went wrong in any point, and it never did. That's impressive.
Yep. Yeah.
So impressive. All right, Dirty. You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Nope, that's basically it. It's a great movie. It really is.
It is,
and it's kind of funny. It does, if you watch it, it does make movies like, you know, your Batman movie and my Batman movie kind of look like a kid's movie in comparison.
Oh yeah, big time, big time. Oh, and Cole, because you did not get to see. Oh, he says, just imagine him confronting Batman. And I like the Joker One Bad Day reference. Yes. We talked about that earlier. JD was in here earlier, and he put about that reference. It says, Oh, let me read it off. You know the reference, so I can't even find it now. But yeah, that is a great, great reference. You know, there's only one bad day. Only one bad day. Yeah, I can't wait to see. I hope they really do a sequel to this. I trust them that they have found the right time frame to put it in, whether he faces Batman or not. And if they do put it in a time frame at any point, the sequel coming up, if they do that, or a sequel down the road, and it is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker against whoever playing Batman at that time. Right now they've already built trust in me that they will do a good job. I'm looking forward to that. I'm like you. Please make that happen. Please let that happen at some point.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yep. Speaking of this is off. So it's Batman. But how do you feel about real quick? How do you feel about your boy from Twilight playing Batman?
You know, at first,
the Batman.
I know Robert Pattinson, whatever. At first, I laughed and I thought it was funny. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, that's actually not a bad pick. Because if you the Twilight stuff was everybody obviously that's what he blew up for or whatever. But him and old girl Kristen, what's her name? Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart. Both of them are actually pretty good actors. They acted for what it was back then, but they have grown a lot from that. Both of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually have seen roles with her when I'm like, she did a pretty damn good job. Same thing with old boy. I think he can do it. I really do.
Yeah.
I saw somebody. They put him on. I saw a thing on Instagram and Reddit. I'm on Reddit as well. Mom's Universe on Reddit, and somebody put a picture up of basically what he will look like in the Batman outfit or whatever, and the particular type of Batman, because you know they always had the different bat suits or whatever. And I can't remember if I saw it on Reddit or Instagram. Maybe I saw it on both. I was like, damn, that works.
Yeah.
So I can picture it. I totally can picture it. I
was gonna say, too bad your boy couldn't survive in terms of acting. Jacob, the werewolf from Twilight.
Yeah,
he tried to have an action.
Yeah,
tried to do some action movies and stuff.
Yeah, that went nowhere. Yeah, they were trying to make him the big best new thing, and that shit went nowhere. Cole says, "I look forward to it. He could surprise us. He's supposed to be a detective kind of Batman, like the comics. There we go. And that's what we talked about, that the Batman in this universe should be more detective-like. You know, he can have some gadgets here and there, but he needs to be a sleuth first and foremost. And so, yeah, if they go that route, I'm happy with it. So I can have two versions of it. They want to do a PG-13 version or a PG version with him, fine. And they keep us an R version over here where, you know, like a Sherlock Holmes type, basically a Sherlock Holmes Batman. That's what I want to see, you know, in this universe. Down, gritty, fine and shit, pretty good to go. So again, everybody, real quick, we will have a review, I don't know, probably a spoiler review, whatever. It's a movie Hustler. I don't think too many people care about it, but I did see it. It's a Jennifer Lopez movie. I saw it with my wife. And I didn't think I was gonna like it, then I enjoyed it. These women are beautiful in this freaking movie, first of all. So if you do have a girlfriend or your significant other to take to this, take it. You will be happy with these women in this movie. So anyway, we'll be doing a Hustler review coming up soon. Jennifer Lopez. We'll also be doing in this couple of days Will Smith, Gemini Man, which looks pretty good to me. Matter of fact, they showed that trailer before the Batman, because I try to avoid trailers once I know I want to see a movie, but that's usually when I see them at the movies. And I saw the trailer and it was good to go. Also, we will be doing, and I'll put a schedule out for Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. It is on Netflix. It's a really cool show. And basically, we'll be going episode by episode and just kind of talking about it and breaking it down. So I think that'll be pretty fun. Cole says, this was a fun stream. Thank you. I'll be here in the next stream. That's what's up. Love from the Netherlands. Nice. Oh, you're from the Netherlands. Dude, I love the Netherlands. Veer is from the Netherlands. XX Veer.
Nice.
Oh, man. Okay, so next time you're in the stream or whatever, I'm going to message Veer. She's cool as shit. And get her to come in the stream or whatever. And y'all might live around each other. You never know. Pretty freaking awesome. And definitely glad to have you here.
Yep.
So with that being said, the stream is basically over right now. I'm going to just give the thank yous and stuff for everybody that came out and showed up and showed out. I'm going to go ahead and put the stream is over. Thanks for watching, sign up so people to know. And so, again, I want to thank, first and foremost, our new follower and subscriber on Twitch and YouTube, Codres. Thank you for coming out. I'm double dipping on both of the stream. Really appreciate that. Good looking out. If you get an opportunity, you want to, join Discord. We don't have a schedule. So the only way to really find us without just stumbling across our channel like you did today, because I'm actually in the state of Texas, and he's in the state of Georgia. So we're in 2 different states, 2 different time zones in the United States. So that's how we're doing this. And so because of our schedule and our work differences or whatever, we can't put a regular schedule out like we would want. So with that being said, actually, let's see, if you're on YouTube, if you're on a computer, up at the top when it has the banner, click on that and you'll see it has the Discord symbol. Well, I think it does. I don't know if it does or not, actually. Does YouTube have Discord? I might be talking out of my ass. Hold on one second here. Actually, it doesn't. So go on Twitch. And on Twitch, it has a Discord button. If you're on a PC, it has a Discord button below the video. Or you can go over to like the About Us section or whatever, and then it has a Discord button in there. And then you'll be able to go right on in there and then be part of it. And so, let's see. Have a good night, y'all. You have a good night, too. Matter of fact, I'm going to wish you good night and a good day. So, Tiberius will wish everybody good night, and then we're out of here. So follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Y'all know how to do. Just follow us. And with that being said, since we do have someone, it's over across the pond, and it is nighttime over there. Nice. And we got a good song playing in the background. Wish you good night here. Man, I need to get my Elgato Stream Deck working. But since I don't have that at my disposal... it takes forever to find everything. Here we go. Wish you a good night right there.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night,
Hopefully
Jim
it's fine. I
Bob.
can't tell if it's playing or not.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night.
Good night, Jim Bob. Go to sleep.
Join the Discord. That's what's up. I'm Emery's on there. Okay, cool. Very cool. Welcome. You just got your passport from Mom's Universe. And you got your visa stamped. Well, good night, sir. Thank you again. And coming to you all the way, once again, from the great state of Georgia, the wonderful city of Atlanta, the peach-free state. Well, who are you, sir?
Tiberius Jones.
That is my brother from another mother. Love that dude to death. He is good people, no matter what everybody else says about him. And again, me coming to you from the wonderful city of Houston, the great state of Texas, in the United States of America. My name is Woodrow Kufu Willis. Thank you for all coming here. We definitely appreciate you. We know you could be anywhere in the world right now doing anything else, yet you choose to be here with us. And we definitely appreciate it. So until next time, mum's the word. Have a good night, everybody. The stream is over. The stream is over. The stream is over. The stream is over. You can turn away now because the stream is over. Not going to raid anybody today because we've been on long enough. The stream is over. The stream is over. The stream is over.